What's up, ADOS and our allies? Good evening on the West Coast. Good evening in the Central. Good evening on the East Coast. You know who it is. Angela Nirvana, your hostess with the mostest on Angela Nirvana Presents The Way I See It. Friends of ADOS TV family, follow in. We've got an exciting show for you this evening. This is the part 2 of Unflattening Blackness. Yes, family. The ADOS family, the ADOS, the lineage, the ADOS, the movement in particular, is putting a gate up around American descendants of slavery because the government, as usual, is working very feverishly to make us extinct in the country our ancestors built with their lives. What's up, Sharon Jackson? ATL in the house. Thank you for joining the live. Yes. So you're going to hear a lot of controversy surrounding the ADOS movement because we are in their face with it, right, family? We are not about to allow the immigrants to silence the native blacks of this country, the ones whose ancestors built the country on their backs, right, family? Absolutely. These immigrants weren't on the breeding farms, family. These immigrants weren't raped. These immigrants weren't lynched, family. These immigrants didn't make cotton king, family. That is ADOS. And we are not about to give in, to give up, to give out. ADOS, we are here. ADOS rising. Hey, Victor. Thank you for joining the live. Yes. So, they tried it with Obama. Kenyan and white. African American. Right? They're trying it now with Kamala Harris. We were sharing a birth certificate where her very brown Brahmin Indian mother marked herself as Caucasian when she gave birth to Kamala. And so, Facebook shut me down for 24 hours. Yeah. I wonder if they do this to the Aryan Nation, to the KKK, right? To these hate groups on the white-hand side of this country. I wonder if they do that to them. So we're here not to disparage Kamala, because we understand she's brown or black or Jamaican, Indian, Asian, but that Caucasian piece, family. Brahmin caste is synonymous with wealth and its whiteness. And Yvette Carnell shared on her video a couple days ago about an Indian woman saying that they never identify as black. Not to trust Kamala. And I'm going to read that with you. I'm going to get into that post because I did a snapshot of that post. I shared it on Facebook. What's up, Jason Jones? Thank you for joining the live. Okay? Yes. She marked herself, or Kamala, she marked herself as Caucasian. Okay? And when we shared that birth certificate, all of us, ADOS in the movement, got put in timeout. Is what I learned from my guest that's joining me today to talk about in Cobra, NARC, Sheila Jackson Lee, and their intent to share our reparations with the Black immigrants in this country. Yes, they came after the 65 Immigration Act. No shade. I love all of the immigrant allies. But if this is stirring something up in you, and you got some hate to spew my direction, it must be landing, right? Because I don't see y'all out here fighting for ADOS reparations, but I see you getting in the way. So today we're going to talk about how Blackness has always been flattened in this country, because this government doesn't want to pay this reparations in the trillions over multi-generations. Okay, family? So we're going to get into some statistics about how much better everyone is faring over ADOS, okay? All right. I've got, what's up? Y'all in here real busy. Good evening, Paula Barnett. Thank you. ADOS Indy in the house. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you, family. Let me know when you're throwing bricks, family, when you come into the chat. I'd love to see where you're just tuning in from. It makes me thrilled that we're coming together to get politically informed so we don't keep falling for these tricks. I'm going to bring up my illustrious guest, the incomparable Arthur Ward from ADOS Chicago. I'm going to get into my data because I couldn't get into that. I got chatty yesterday. So I'm going to get into the numbers, family, to help y'all understand. Maxwell Justice Little, thank you. ADOS Chicago in the house. Thank you for joining live. So I'm going to bring up Arthur, and then I'm going to go through the data, and then I'm going to hand it over to him and give myself a breath. Okay, family, stand by. Arthur Ward, King Arthur, man,
How you doing? How you doing, Angela? Look, everybody, excuse this. I'm not feeling it today, so I said, the hell with it.
And that's okay.
You know,
I called this brother this morning. Latasha Gibson, Triangle ADOS in the house. What's up, I love you, sis. I love all y'all Black and Strong. I called, y'all have to forgive Arthur. He didn't have time to shave. I'm going to tell the truth. Yes, just saw it. This is my family, Dayton. What's up?
Okay.
And Dayton. Yeah, and Maxwell tells you, what's good, Art? You should be able to see the comments. I hope you can.
Yeah, I just switched over. I see them now.
All right.
Oh, everything's good.
So I called this brother. I called him, and I think I called, or maybe I just text. I don't know. I just got the bright idea that I needed him on this line because he is a narc and Cobra expert. And I didn't want to do that part and botch it up because that's his wheelhouse. And Arthur lovingly said, not just yes to today's show, but yes to tomorrow's show. Okay, well, we're going to dig in to Kamala's birth certificate and all of what is happening with respect to making immigrants whole while pushing ADOS further and further to the bottom. Mm-hmm. Okay, we're going to get into that show tomorrow. He has offered to come on not just once, but 2 days in a row. And before he leaves, I'm going to chat. I'm going to put in the chat the name of his show. His and Cynthia McDonald's show is powerful. You definitely want to tune in. Oh, they're brilliant. They're genius. They're beautiful. I love them. So, Arthur, I'm going to do this part first because it is the part 2 to yesterday's show. I have to give them the data as to how Blackness is being flattened. Okay. So they will understand how we got to where we are and why the revolution is necessary right now. We're out of time. So let me go over here to the Color of Wealth in Los Angeles. This is where I'm reading from. This is from the Federal Reserve Bank of San Francisco. And you've got Melanie De La Cruz, Viesca as a part of this, Zin Chin, Paul M. Ong, Derek Hamilton, and William Darity Jr. Okay, this is a joint publication of Duke University, the New School, the University of California, Los Angeles, and the Insight Center for Community Economic Development. So what you're going to find is when you're with the ADOS movement, family, we deal with data, okay? We don't just talk out the side of our necks. We give you the real, okay? So I'm going to jump down to some of these stats and just share with you the things that are instrumental to how we are being replaced. Okay, down here in Los Angeles, the Asian Indian population from 2000 to 2014 grew 117%. Chinese grew, This is interesting. They have a blue bar. Let me just see. Hold on one. Okay, California, and then there's LA. So let me just, I'm going to give you the stats. So the Asian Indian at large grew 117% in California at large, 60% in LA proper. The Chinese grew 44% in California, 38% in LA proper. The Vietnamese grew 42% in California, 38% in LA proper. The Filipino grew 40% in California, 37% in LA proper. The Asians grew 46% in California, 34% in LA proper. The Korean grew 38% in California, 32% in LA proper. The Mexicans grew 48% in California, 25% in LA proper. Latinos grew 37%, 17% in LA proper. Whites grew 18%, 13% in LA proper. Total population of California grew 15%. The total population in LA grew 7%. Now, this is what's going to blow your mind. Japanese decreased in population in California by 5%, and in Los Angeles by 7%. But get this, family, Black, which I don't know why they lumped African immigrants, Caribbean immigrants, and ADOS all into this number. But we were down, hold on one second. We are down 2% in California, but 10% in LA proper. You see that? Down 10% in LA proper because, as you're about to hear with the rest of these numbers, we can't afford to be here, okay? Blacks are now 6% of the population. Once again, the report does, we're 6% of the population in California and 6% at large here in LA proper, okay? Down 10%. So we were 116% here, okay? This is from 2014. Let's go down. You're going to see why when I tell you what's happening with the numbers. And this is why this show is very important, because we think it's a victory when these immigrants are climbing right over top of us, taking only one generation since Kamala's parents got here. They literally want us to buy into allowing immigrants that look like us to be on the path to the presidency in just one generation when we've been here for 401 years. That's what they're telling you to sign up for when you continue to vote against your own interest. Hello, 2 terms for Barack Obama. And hello with the way Black folks are carrying on right now at the idea that a Brahmin Indian, because that's who raised her, not her Jamaican father, her Brahmin Indian mother, who identified as white when she came to this country in 58 on Kamala's, well, I think she came in 58. I think Kamala was born in 64. I'm not really sure. I have to check that. But when Kamala was born, her mother identified as Caucasian. Her father identified as Jamaican. And so this is problematic because she's right. Okay. Brahmin Indians are the upper echelon in India. They're considered white. And I'll read Yvette's text on the thing I photoshopped of Yvette's show about these Indians on tomorrow's show. I'm not going to get into that today because we have a lot to cover with Unflattening Blackness. We'll get more into this subject tomorrow, but I want you to understand that you're voting against your own interest when you allow these immigrants to get into office, and they're all crawling all throughout the CDC, Sheila Jackson Lee. And what they're trying to do is crowbar their way into our reparations. And if we allow that, we may get $20 by the time it's all over. But ADOS is in their face, and this is what is upsetting them, okay? But we'll dig into that more later. Okay, so here, Los Angeles Metropolitan Statistical Area Sample Characteristics. Now, you may want to look up the color of wealth for your city to see if they have this data pulled together so you can see for yourself how poorly ADOS is doing by and large, okay? So here we have numbers. Okay, here we have bachelor's degree or higher. 56.9% are, and I'm not gonna, let me read this. We have 56.9% whites have bachelor's degree or higher. US Black, they broke it out here. 44% of us here have bachelor's degree or higher. African Blacks, 58.9% have bachelor's degree or higher. Mexican, 17.8%. Other Latino, 45.7%. These are your white ones. 45.7%. They have more degrees in higher education than US-born Blacks by 1.7%. Chinese, 68.4%. Japanese, 68.6%. Korean, 57.1%. Vietnamese, 36.5%. Filipino, 76.7%. Asian Indian, 79.2%. Married. We're the lowest. Can't afford to be married. Whites, 49.4%. US Black, 28%. 59.2% of African Blacks are married. They can afford to be. 45.3% Mexicans are married. Other Latino, 37%. Chinese, 54.2%. Japanese, 48.5%. Korean, 58%. Vietnamese, 55.2%. Filipino, 52.7%. Asian Indian, 70.5%. The median age for whites is 63. For Blacks is 59. African Black, 54. Mexicans, 45. Other Latinos, 62. Chinese, 53. Japanese, 63. Korean, 57. Vietnamese, 51. Filipino, 59. Asian Indian, 50. Okay? Now listen to this, family. The median family income. $95,000 for whites, US Black, $53,500. African Black are making the most money in terms of median income here in Los Angeles at $115,000. Mexican, $50K. Other Latino, $40K. Chinese, $70K. Japanese, $75K. Korean, $60K. Vietnamese, $50K. Filipino, $80K. Asian Indian, $100K. But Akon, who we made wealthy, wants you to forget about slavery. Let that sink in. I'm going down. Liquid assets. I think I'm just going to deal with white, Black, and African Black. Whites have 91.6% liquid assets. US Black, 62.3%. African Black, 87%. Liquid assets here in Los Angeles. Let that sink in. 62.3%, 87%. But Akon wants you to forget about slavery. Let it go. Kamala clutching her invisible pearls. I'm not doing anything for Black folks. No. The horror. Bernie Sanders, what's reparations? Biden, I'll give you prison reform after being the author of the 94 crime bill. when there's only 1 million of us in prison? Not that we don't need reform, but wouldn't you think that the other 35 million of us need reparations? Checking accounts. 90% of white folks have checking accounts. US Black 68%, African Black 80.3%. Savings accounts, 71.9 white, 55.5 US Black, 80.3 African Black. Well, I guess you do have money to save since you make double what US Black earn and more than all the other groups in California. Guess you can save. Percentage of Blacks owning a savings account. Okay, I'm not going to do that part. I'm trying to get through this because I want to bring Arthur in. Stocks, 40.7% of whites have stocks, 21.5% of US Blacks have stock, and 18% of African Black have stocks. Okay, IRAs or private annuities. 63.6 whites have IRAs or private annuities, 37.9% of US Blacks, which is a difference of 25.7 from whites, 48.5 of African Blacks have IRA or private annuity accounts. That's a 15.1 difference from US Black. But y'all want to vote for this. Y'all want to keep this lesser two evil thing going, right? To your own demise. Not the ADOS. We'll get into it. Percentage of, okay, I'm going to go down. I'm trying to make this quick, but there's a lot. It's 60 pages, y'all. I'm not going through all 60 pages, okay? They're doing bar graphs and all kind of stuff in here. You can check it out. It's a free download. Credit cards, student loan, and medical debt. Let's talk about it. 27.7% of whites have credit card debt. US Black, 57.3%. We're living on credit, y'all. African Blacks, 64.7%. Student loans, 15.3% of whites have student loan debt. 20.5% of us Blacks here in California have student loan debt. Only 13.5% for the African Black have student loan debt. The medical debt, whites have 6.8%, the US Black 4.7%, and African Blacks have 3.4%. Let's talk about homes and vehicles, tangible assets. Home ownership, 68.3%. For whites, US Blacks 41.5, African Black 42.9. Whites are beating the brakes off of us in home ownership here. Vehicles, 87.4% of whites have a car, 72.2% of US Blacks have a car, 99.9% of African Blacks have cars. I'm sure they're luxury. 72.2% of US Blacks have cars down here, family. You can't do much without a car in California. I'm moving on. But your African immigrants who want you to forget about slavery. Come on. Okay, white and non-white households having mortgage debt. Among all households, 46.2% for white, 32.5% for Black, 32.7% for African Black. Among homeowners, 67.7% white, 78.4% US Black, 76.3% African Black. I'm moving. Almost done, family, and then I can let Arthur speak while I take a breath. Auto debt. Among households that own a vehicle, 21.3% of whites have auto debt. U.S. blacks, 35.6% of us have auto debt. African black, 48.5%. I'm sure that's their luxury cars. Liquid assets. Median value, whites, 110,000. U.S. black, 200. We $200 liquid down here in this piece, y'all. For white folks, 110,000. African blacks are $60,000 liquid. But you are to forget about slavery and share your reparations.
Mm.
When you were their reparations, like I said at the top of the show, were they bred on breeding farms? Were they raped? Were they lynched? Are you not their reparations? And they want to encroach on the reparations when we made cotton king to the tune of $42 trillion.
Mm.
But Akon wants you to forget about slavery. Total assets for whites, 355,000 median value of their total assets. U.S. black, 30,000. African black, 152,000 is the median value of their total assets. 30,000, family, to 152,000. But we want to do kumbaya Pan-Africanism. Yeah. That's what y'all on. Not the ADOS.
Mm.
I'm almost there. Total median non-housing debt for white and non-white households. 0 for whites, 5,000 for U.S. black, 15,000 African black. Comparison of white and non-white household median net worth. Whites, 355,000. This is median net worth comparison. U.S. black, 4,000. African black, 72,000. To U.S. blacks, 4,000 median net worth. But y'all supposed to, y'all singing and dancing in the streets over Kamala, who says, I'm not doing anything for black folks specifically. No! Percentage of white and non-white households that own a business, 11.7% white, 3.1% U.S. black, 6.6% African black. They own double the business. And since COVID, I mean, these are old numbers. We're talking 2014. Since COVID, this is gone. Self-employed, public sector, private sector, white self-employed 5.9, U.S. black 6.6, African black 6.1, public sector 7%, white 11.2, U.S. black, African blacks don't even need no public sector, 0. In the private sector, 14.3% white, U.S. black 6.6%, African black 7.9%. But guess who's beating the brakes off of us in the private sector where we have no more affirmative action because white women are first, immigrants are second, and LGBTQ is up there third. And because we have no social capital at the table, right, family? Let me break this down for you. I got to do the rest of this in the private sector. Why we have left, why we are down from 16 to 6%, and that includes African immigrants, Caribbean immigrants down in this piece, okay? In the private sector, where all the racism is happening, 10.6% is Mexican, 18.1% is Latino, 16.3% Chinese, 27.1% Japanese, 18.9% Korean. The Vietnamese have taken over 35.4% in the private sector, Filipino 22.7%, Asian Indians, who Kamala is right behind the Vietnamese at 35%. 6.6% US Black in the private sector. Y'all running to the polls to sign up to become the permanent underclass in the country your ancestors built with their lives. Yeah, that's it, family. What's up, Moni Love? What's up, Luke Man? Sherman Wilcox, E. Victor Dubé. For those of you I can't see in the chat, welcome to the live. Thank you so much. Arthur, I'm gonna take a breath and let you weigh in on what I just shared. And,
okay.
And my supporting audience, you guys can weigh in too.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I'm going to have to weigh in and extend on that a little bit about the importance of voting down ballot, because it is important for Kamala Harris and Biden to lose this election. And I'll tell you why. If they win this election, it will be very, very bad for reparations.
Yep.
And why is that? Because if they win, they will allow the commission to happen. They will pass H.R. 40. And H.R. 40 is nothing but a grift bag. If you've ever read it, how it is a grift bag. And what they plan on doing is this. I kind of figured out what the real deal is with this whole Kamala, Sheila Jackson Lee, and all this other stuff. Once they get the commission started, you found out before, I think it was either Darity or Yvette that made light of the fact that the latest iteration of that bill is to add 6 more people to the commission. Okay. Now, usually when these kinds of commissions are started, the people that are on the commission are picked by the president, one of the secretaries, and then members of Congress. Okay. Now, this extension of 6 more people would include, quote unquote, grassroots organizations that have historically been associated with reparations. Who are those organizations? Not us. It's Narcan and Cobra. And when Narcan and Cobra get to working, this is not going to be for African Americans. It's not going to be for ADOS African Americans. It's going to be for immigrants. And I'm telling you right now, the trick bag is on. First, after they get the commission done, the real trick, first of all, I kind of figured out who's going to be on the commission if they do it. The first one I figured out, and there's more members like this that's on Narcan and Cobra, but after doing some research and figuring out how the commission will be worked, these are the most likely people that will be on the commission. And all of these are members of NARC. One of them is Professor Charles Ogletree. He's the Executive Director Emeritus of the Charles Hamilton Houston Study for Houston Institute for Race and Justice. The second one will be Lionel Jean-Baptiste. He is a Cook County Circuit Court judge right here in Chicago.
Oh my God.
The third person will be Cam Howard, who is a national co-chairperson in Cobra, who is here in Chicago. The fourth person will be Dr. Julianne Malvo. You know, that same crazy woman, the light-skinned woman with the red hair that was at the congressional hearings on reparations.
Looks like Karen Bass.
Yeah, a little bit. Julianne Malvo. She'd be the fourth person. The fifth person would be Dr. Ron Daniels himself, who is the president of NARC. And the sixth person would be Don Rojas, who is the director of communications for the Institute of the Black World, and he's also a board member of NARC. And he's not even African. He's some kind of Hispanic person. So these are the six people that they plan on putting in that commission. Then once the commission is formed, and let's say after 1 or 2 years they drag this stuff out, and let's say Congress allows reparations to happen, you ain't getting no money. You know, Sheila Jackson Lee needs a post-congressional job. I'm going to tell you what that job is going to be if reparations is done in the way they want to do it. And I'm reading from their website. This is from the NARC website. Therefore, I'm quoting, therefore, we renew the call for a National Reparations Trust Authority to be the repository, custodian, and administrative body to receive monetary and material resources allocated by offending parties, meaning the United States, as restitution to repair the damages inflicted on the sons and daughters of Africans in America during centuries of oppression and exploitation. This authority will be comprised of a cross-section of credible representatives of reparations, civil rights, human rights, labor, faith, education, civil and fraternal organizations and institutions. It will be empowered to establish subsidiary trust funds to administer projects and initiatives in the areas of culture, economic development, education, health, and other fields as deemed appropriate based on the demands in the reparations program. In other words, they want to be the full controllers of all reparations resources. So that'll be a nice job for Sheila Jackson Lee when she retires from Congress. It's a whole grift to set up. And when they say this part here, as deemed appropriate, in other words, they're going to decide who gets reparations money, who gets this, who gets that, and which one of their Caribbean friends get contracts to work for the commission. So it's a total grift thing. That's one of the reasons why Narcan and Cobra are running around the country doing these local reparations deals, because through those things, they are shifting resources, which really should be for Black people that are descendants of slavery here in the United States, into the pockets of Caribbeans and Africans, just like they're doing in Everson. You know about my blog, right, Angela?
Your blog?
ADOS Absolute.
Oh, yes. Yes. Let me put that in the comments here. Let me say hello to Naheem Wael. Naheem has a show as well that's Sheer Fire. Could you
We just did a show with him.
Oh, yeah.
Me and Cynthia. How you doing, Naheem?
ADOS Absolute, right? That's your blog?
Right.
I'm typing it in the chat. Absolute. It's Absolute, like with the T, no E.
Absolute, yeah, with absolute E, yeah, with an E. The regular way you spell absolute.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's Arthur Ward's blog. And could you tell me the name of you and Cynthia's show?
The 13%.
The 13%.
Yeah, we always post the next show on Facebook and Twitter and so forth.
Okay. And that's YT.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
what's the name of oh no, did it not go? Okay, there it is. What's the name of Naheem's
Be the Power.
Be the Power.
Right.
Is he on StreamYard too?
Yeah. Is that StreamYard your own? I'm not totally sure.
I know it's in YouTube.
Yeah, tell us, Naheem. I'm not totally. I know he's on Facebook and YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. You gotta check these people out. They are sheer fire.
And you know, it's the lack of specificity that NARC and Cobra and it's more so the Caribbeans that are on the grip thing than the Africans. Okay. Why is that? because Caribbeans have the same names as we do. They have French, Dutch, and British last names. And a lot of them look just like us. So they blend right in. And I complain about that in my blog. I say right here, I say because of the lack of, I'm talking specifically about Evanston, because Evanston, you know about the Evanston case.
Could you please share with my audience? Some of them are new to the show.
Oh yeah, well they passed a so-called local reparations law ordinance in Evanston, Illinois. And Evanston is a northern suburb which is right next to Chicago. The Alderman Ruth Simmons, Robin Ruth Simmons. I'm not totally sure she's ADOS. I speculate that she is ADOS, but she's probably married to a Caribbean. It's a lot of Caribbeans in Evanston. And this is from the June 16, 2020 edition of the Evanston Roundtable newspaper. Alderman Ruth Simmons, added that she has heard talk about excluding Black people who have a Caribbean heritage from reparations in Evanston. She said those families have had the same negative impact that African Americans have had. There's no intention of excluding any Black person from our programming based specifically on where their ancestry has come from. We all have come from the continent of Africa. We all have ancestors that were kidnapped and enslaved. We are not going to be differentiating between Black people in Evanston. That's what she said. In other words, that's her screw you niggers statements. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. And so it is because of the lack of specificity in eligibility in Evanston that even a glimmer of something called reparations will first be going into the households of otherwise ineligible citizens that are not American descendants of slavery. Caribbean immigrants reparated ahead of ADOS under the undifferentiating umbrella designations of Black and or African American, and this is NARC certified grifter mess. The Caribbeans have no respect for ADOS or their separate and distinct history. Okay, and I'm not liking the way our diasporan brothers and sisters are trying to screw over us. The Caribbeans in Evanston are dishonestly basing their eligibility for reparations on their ability to blend into an ADOS history that they were not here to make, receive, suffer through, or change. They're able to commit reparational theft under the deceptive cover of Black and African American identity ahead of us. And it is through this kind of deceptiveness that we have a new vice presidential candidate. All right. And it is important for us not to participate in our own reparational demise by voting for this woman and Jim Crow Joe. We need to have some political backbone for a change.
Well, we do, because we have been voting blue no matter who, all the way down to George Floyd, 846. Right. And it is time for us to grow a backbone. The boomers need to either get with us or get out the way. Everybody's so afraid of another 4 years of Trump. Well, you know what? The way I see it, it can't get any worse for us. We're already on the bottom. Perhaps everybody needs to share in this pain like they have for these last 4 years in order for the Democrats to do something different. Now, what's so important about that is this is the last election cycle. This is probably going to matter because the Democrats are working feverishly to replace us with immigrants. Mm-hmm. They want to give 10 more million Hispanics a pathway to citizenship in this country. Mm-hmm. All of this is by design to suppress the wages while giving them extra, giving them all type of benefits to become American, to make them whole, while not even guaranteeing us the right to be American yet. We've not been American. We've been here for 401 years before America was formed. Okay? So for all you haters in here talking about get a real job, I have a real job, Mr. Dwayne. I saw that stupid ass comment you made.
Mm.
I am a unicorn. I own my own home, my own car. I do quite well financially for myself. Thank you very much.
Mm.
I've decided to make a business of informing ADOS so that they will stop this two-step all the way to hell.
Right.
Two-step, lesser of two evil nonsense all the way to their own demise.
Right.
That's what I'm doing with my free time. I don't get paid to do this.
Right.
But this is my mission. It's to wake the sheeple up like you.
Right. You know, we've had every president we've had has been racist toward us, including Obama, who told us no when it came to reparations.
Yes.
No. He said the same thing that Kamala said. No. He said the same thing that Biden said. No. They all say no. You know? And
they'll all say no, and they'll continue to say no, because why should they say yes when your first and only Kenyan and white president, descendant of slave owners reared by white folks, if he said no, left $500,000 estate or more, who knows, by his white grandmother who had big business in the banks, he said no to reparations, so it gave all these other white presidents hereafter and immigrants a pathway to say early in her race, no. And oh, by the way, she was only at 4% and had to drop out of her own primary.
Right.
Okay, she could not raise money amongst the blacks because of her prosecutorial and AG record. We're going to get into all that tomorrow. We're like at 46 minutes, so I don't want to belabor this and eat up for what's happening tomorrow's show. But our goal is to gridlock this piece. If Trump wins, great.
Great.
The only thing we can give you is a Democratic Congress at this point.
Yes.
Because giving us Kamala Harris was the ultimate FU when this chick clutched her invisible ski-wee bison pearls and told us, no, she's not doing anything specifically for us when we are on the bottom, and class-based policies don't fix race.
Right. And you know, the important thing to me about Trump staying in office for two reasons. First of all, Trump will be, can continue to be our boogeyman. We need that marketing. That's number one. And number two, that will give ADOS 4 more years to get our political thing together. We need that time. But if Kamala gets in, I'm telling you,
it's a wrap.
Reparations is going to be derailed, and we cannot afford her. We can't afford her. So I mean, and as an aside, I've actually been making more money under Trump, but
okay.
He hasn't affected my income at all.
Yeah, Dwayne Edwards, I see you. Just silly. Just, you know, I just can't stand the ignorance. Okay, E. Victor Dubé says, let's talk solutions instead of problems.
Oh, the solution is down ballot, and also within your circle, talking to people about abstaining from their vote, or if they must vote, vote for Trump, or if they don't want to vote for neither of them and they want to vote for somebody, vote for a third-party candidate.
Yep,
but do not give it to the Democrats.
Jim Crow Joe.
Do not give it to the Democrats.
Oh, we will be doomed. We will be finished, because let me tell you something else, and it'll be on tomorrow's show. Oh, well. The only money Kamala could raise was from Hillary's donors.
Right.
We're talking the same Hillary that killed Gaddafi for wanting to print his own money and have his own economy and free himself from the New World Order. She had him murdered and laughed about it. Okay, so if Jim Crow Joe has dementia and Kamala is the VP and has already told you she ain't doing nothing for you,
right,
specifically, which means no to your reparations.
Right.
And Hillary's donors and white corporate capital is the only money behind her. Who do you think she's going to work for? And who has a pathway to the presidency when Biden folds in 4 years or less due to his dementia? Right. And whose puppet do you think she's going to be? Right. Hillary's and corporate.
Right. And also don't forget her Indian ancestry, because if she becomes president, there's going to be the floodgates are going to open for Indians coming here on H-1B visas.
That's right. And tell them what the H-1B visa is.
That enables you to work for especially technology companies, and it gives you a straight path to a green card, which gives you the straight path to citizenship. And that's going to be another minority on top of us. And on top of that, a caste practicing minority that even practices racism on their own people. So you know what they think about us.
We are bottom caste on that structure.
That's right.
We'll get into all of that on tomorrow, but that's a little teaser about what's coming. We're going to really get into how detrimental a Biden-Kamala ticket is for ADOS and the importance of voting down ballot or for Trump or for a Green Party or somebody. Anybody but her and him.
Right.
Okay, well, because it is going to be a fast track to our permanent underclass in this country.
Right.
We will be the beggars because we're 90% already on Skid Row down here in Los Angeles. 90%.
Well, I see Violence Blooming here saying that the talk around the country for most ADOS is punishing the Democrats for their benign neglect of ADOS. Of course. That's what other groups do. What do you think they're there for? We vote them in so that we can get stuff.
Oh, but we're not supposed to be self-interested, you understand? They want us to keep everybody on the tit.
Right.
They want us, what about the kids down there at the border? I don't see any. Well, they may cry for us and throw us a bone, but they go back to eating, their filet mignon. They're not really that concerned about what's happening to ADOS.
Right, right. And you know what?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, you know what now? Neither Biden nor Kamala want reparations to happen. But this is the slick part. They, everybody in the Democratic Party in Congress, most of those people are legally trained. So they've looked at HR 40 and they see exactly the same things that we're seeing, that it's a nothing burger. Beautiful. Yes, let's support this, because if we pass this thing, it will be reparations with no reparations. Okay.
Right.
We will give the black people something to cheer about, while at the same time giving them nothing, letting these niggas over here with the goofy hats on have their commission, and their post reparations commission will fund that. But the way that they're going to handle it, these black people will still not close the racial wealth gap, and they will still never get a leg up the way in Cobra and NARC wants to do it. So yes, I'm going to support HR 40. And that's why you've had this explosion of people in Congress, especially white, supporting HR 40, because they took a look at it. They finally took a look at it and said, oh, there's nothing here. Oh yeah, I'll support this.
Absolutely. And it's an election year.
And it's election year.
Okay. So, understand, family, the only capital we have is our vote.
Right.
And they do everything they can to destroy the Voters' Rights Act and suppress the vote and do all this nonsense all throughout the country.
Right.
This is a time when we want that to happen. Save the Congress.
Right.
You got to show up and vote your Congress people in. Vote Tamara Johnson-Shealy down in Georgia.
There you go.
I need your help. Visit tamaraforgeorgia.com. Donate to her. FriendsofADOS.com is doing commercials for her. You can donate there to feed into those commercials. But we're going to be running spots for her. But you must, Jasan, my homegirl, can you please get in touch with Tamara for Georgia? You go to tamaraforgeorgia.com. The whole country can get behind her in terms of phone calls, donate, volunteer. She is the only ADOS in this movement running for a U.S. Senate seat, and it is our goal as the Friends of ADOS super PAC. There's PACs cropping up all over the place, but we're looking to replace Congress. These lame ducks that are doing these do-nothings, we need 150 Tamara Johnson-Shealys in those Congress seats. We can start with getting her elected. So all over the country, you need to make calls for her and donate. Visit TamaraForGeorgia.com. Jason, I can put you directly in touch with her. She is going all over rural Georgia and needs help putting up signs and everything.
Right.
She is really working hard to defeat Minister Warnock, who Stacey Abrams has gotten behind full-chested, and the establishment is pouring into him. We need to help her defeat everybody down there because the Republicans are having a time of it, given that the governor stole the election by suppressing votes. He stole the election from Stacey Abrams. So she doesn't believe he's going to run much interference in this race. But we need to ensure that Tamara Johnson-Shealy gets that seat down there, or we're doomed. So definitely, folks want to know what the solution is? Tear down and defeat Kamala and Biden, deliver a Democratic Congress, and let them fight and hug it out for the next 4. And we need to continue in that strategy till we break the back of the lesser of two evil, two-dance strategy, two-step all the way to hell. You can't be afraid of this. Ain't nothing for us to fear. Hell, we've been afraid for 401 years. It's time to stand up and grow a backbone. And I'm here to tell you, the millennials ain't having it. Yeah. I'm a Gen Xer. Arthur's a boomer. Okay, so yeah, we're going to do that show with the millennials coming on both sides, me, Gen Xer, and the boomers. We're going to have 6 folks doing the show real soon. My colleague in the ADOS SoCal chapter is... She came up with an idea to bring both sides on for a debate about this election. Those that are for Biden and Kamala, and those who are against. And we're going to have that conversation.
Well, you know what? I don't know if you've been noticing on the internet. 2 things have been happening. Actually, it's been a lot of black boomers on the internet flaming Harris. They've been... I've seen some stuff when I said, wow, it's not looking good for Biden.
Well, they will flame her. Yeah. But I was in my office today, and in the same breath, they'll vote for her. My colleague was like, Angela, are you crazy? I hate her, but we still got to vote for her.
No, so we don't.
Yep. We do need to, this is what... Latasha said we need to return the ultimate FU back by not voting Biden, Kamala in. You absolutely right.
Right.
Jason says out of ATL, Kamala going to take our guns and make us take the vaccine. She will be the face of it. Who is this? E. Victor Dubé, welcome to the live. The churches need to turn their backs on Democrats. Yes, they do. But we got a lot of scared Negroes.
Yeah, and also in the past month, ADOS has been popping up all over the internet and coming out of people's mouths on different webcasts.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. They are watching us.
Y'all going to see a lot of COINTELPRO activity against our movement. Understand why. We giving them that business. We ain't going nowhere. They're upset with ADOS because they know what we did to her primary. They won't give us credit for that, but you heard it in the TV channels with Joy Ann Reid, another immigrant, trying to get in the way of our reparations, calling us Russian bots. Roland Martin, roly-poly, another immigrant, caping hard for Kamala, mad spewing venom at the ADOS movement. This is why they won't feature us and keep these stupid ass celebrities talking.
Right. You know, Roland Martin shaded us the other morning. I was watching the show live while I was between calls while I was working, and they shaded us directly. And there was another guy that was a lot more intelligent than that. He said that, look, you need to stop disparaging these ADOS and FBA people because
FBA.
Yeah, he said because they are still part of the electorate, and we don't know how many of them there are.
Isn't that lovely?
I said, I'm glad you don't.
Amen. That's by design. ADOS, we are here.
Yeah.
Paula Barnett, thank you for being in the live. They say no because we say vote blue no matter who. Find a sucker, bump his head. Listen, this is the problem. This is a problem. We keep voting this lesser of two evil strategy to our own demise.
Nice.
We have nothing. We are already at zero wealth. We ain't got to take to 2053. Those stats I read you for LA was 2000 to 2014.
Right.
We're in 2020, 6 years later with the COVID.
Right.
So please, family, we are at the hour. I don't want to delay you. I really want to save some of this fire for Kamala and the rest for tomorrow's show. Arthur, work on your notes because it's going to be a good one. We're going to lean in for one solid hour. Why we need to show up and disrupt all of it and what we can do to get everybody on board.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, family. With that said, I'm going to pray us out that the light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, and the presence of God watches over us. Wherever ADOS and its allies are, God truly is, because you are the face of God. You are the voice of God. You are the body temple of the Spirit of the living God. Until tomorrow, family, you make it a beautiful, God-inspired rest of your evening. I love you, Black. I love you, Strong. I see you tomorrow, 12 noon Pacific, 2 o'clock Central, 3 o'clock Eastern.
Right.
Thank you, Arthur.
Bye-bye, baby.
See you tomorrow. Bye, family. That was great.